Hello!
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Writing in Cars with Books. I'm Jaclyn.
And I'm Phillip.
And today we're going to be discussing Temporal. This is written by Stephanie Williams with art by Asiah Fulmore. It is originally 1 through 5. Yeah, 5. 5 single issues published by Mad Cave. And now we have this beautiful floppy trade.
Floppy.
Tap, tap, tap.
Oh my God.
So, I read this in single issues, and dear old Philip read it in trade, which is backwards, which is kind of funny. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, what is it?
I made it like 2 issues in, and I'm like, I gotta stop.
What? Oh, well, issue 3 got lost in translation, so.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened.
That's what happened. It got delayed, denied, I don't know.
It got damaged, and then we didn't get it, and then we got it after issue like 4.
Yeah.
So.
Anywho, what is it about? Once upon a time, it says that for real. I'm not making it up.
I know. I was just laughing.
Once upon a time, Savannah and Marcus were the most skilled temporal thieves in the business, slipping through history to acquire rare artifacts. That was before they settled down, had a son, and built a quiet life together. 10 years later, as their son Harper celebrates his birthday, Savannah questions whether suburban bliss is enough. When Harper's disappointment over a replica gaming console triggers memories of her former life, Savannah makes a decision that could jeopardize everything she and Marcus have built. Against her husband's knowledge and her best friend's warning, Savannah steps back into the portal for one last job.
Dun, dun, dun.
A simple mission to retrieve an original gaming console from the past. But nothing stays simple for long in a business where time is money.
Okay, so when you read that, the only thing I could think of is I want to do one of these one time when you're reading this, and then when you get to temporal, we do a definition of temporal, and then when you get to artifact, well, an artifact is.
Oh my God.
Because the way everything is written.
There's a lot of school words.
It was just funny. It was the way that was written in my head. My head immediately went to, we should just do this and describe. Well, temporal means that.
Temporal?
What their artifact is.
This is your temple. No, I'm just kidding.
This is your temporal.
Your temporal lobe is right here. Right here, your temporal lobe.
Right. Anyway.
Okay. So, Savannah here makes some questionable decisions, as we've already said. What did you think of her decision making?
I mean, she makes poor decisions, but I understand her poor decisions.
She missed the thrill.
She missed the high. She missed the high of being a thief. And it wasn't that she didn't love her family. Like, she loved her husband and son and everything.
She was doing this for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was no way doing this for the
thrill.
Right.
No way.
No.
She was getting a gaming console for her son's birthday,
it was in the guise of doing it for her son, but it was no way doing it for that. But I don't really think Stephanie Williams went that deep with this book, but I did.
Yeah.
So
I really, really like this though as a whole. It probably reads better as a collection just because
it read pretty good.
Waiting a month in between is so painful for me for just any story.
I will tell you, though, that reading it as a trade, it read really quick.
Yeah.
Like, everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
When you're reading it as a
Instead of
trade.
waiting.
Yeah, so I don't know if this was actually better in a trade than it was the single issues.
Ooh. I guess I'll have to read it again and find out.
Yeah, I would like to know your thought on that, because, like, everything happened so quick, right?
And normally you read the singles and I read the trades, so I just think that's kind of funny.
Yep.
But this was like my pick of the week 5 times over. Like it was really interesting. I was invested in the story. I like the characters, even though they're making questionable decisions.
All the characters were great.
And I love the family aspect of it. Not mentioned on the back of the book is her brother was also in the business.
The temporal business.
And he's been missing, presumed dead.
For
Oh, like 10 years. So
yeah,
basically
12 years, I think, something like that.
Yeah, so that was another reason why they got out of the business. They're like, we can't lose anybody else. But that aspect plays a really big role in her decision making in the later half of the book after she gets the console.
I will say this book is also a good example of getting upset with someone for making questionable decisions while you also have been making questionable decisions, which made me laugh. I'm like, ooh, glass houses.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Like, everyone that's getting on her about, you really shouldn't be doing this, at the same time is also holding secrets that they shouldn't have been holding.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, they explain that from a time travel perspective, because if she had known, all these other things wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I like the aspect of the time travel because they weren't just traveling in time to change anything, they were just taking things. Like, she was taking
so she was a thief. So the whole principle of the temporal piece is there's a group of people that it's a vacation for some.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is there's these companies that take people back in time to be able to just walk around, not touch anything, eat food or whatever, and enjoy the 20th century, whatever. Like, I want to go back to the 1990s. Who doesn't sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So that was the whole point. But then you had these people who were like paid good money for like an original Xbox or an original PlayStation, and so they would go back in time and steal things.
Yeah. So I thought that aspect was different and unique, not just your typical time travel story.
Right.
And like, it's heist.
Yeah, it's right.
But she's pretty cool as a mom and a time traveler.
She is pretty.
She's pretty cool.
The main character, even with questionable decisions, I really like the main character.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And
she's pretty hot.
The art was really fun. It reminded me a lot of like the YA Nubia books, and they're very expressive, and their facial expressions were definitely fun. I love the art a lot too. I don't know if I've ever read anything by this artist before.
But
she did Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld, and Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Well, there you have it. And there's other aspects where there's people who try to use time travel for nefarious reasons.
Of course.
And so that plays a part into it, and so there's a larger villain in this other than her being an ex-thief.
Yeah.
So, who never got caught.
And again, there's a big family dynamic, not just with her husband and her son, but
her brother,
finding out what happened to her brother, and her best friend is like a sister. So,
and then there's other like
her boss. Was her boss nice? I don't remember.
Whose boss?
Savannah's boss.
She didn't really have a boss.
Oh, who did she report to then?
She owned like a curio shop of past things.
Oh, right.
The lady you're talking about was the lady that was ahead of like the procurement center of past things.
This lady.
Right. So they were also kind of like family, but she hadn't seen in forever. Could have been a grandmother. It's pretty good.
But the book starts out with them doing a heist in 1986, and then it jumps to...
The book actually starts...
2072 is present time.
Yeah, the book starts out in the past when they're on a heist run. So you get to see them pull a heist.
Yeah.
And then and then they go back to their normal time.
2072 is their present day.
But the first one actually took place in 2062. Even though they were in 19 whatever, because it was jumped another 10 years because they had a kid.
But
it's a whole
thinking about 1986 as historical is hilarious to me, because I mean, I wasn't born yet,
but this, I also want to say, this wasn't like I think you kind of said this earlier, but this wasn't a time travel story that gets caught up in what time are we in. It's not necessarily important, and they also just plug it right on a page. So,
but the first heist is the DeLorean. Like, how freaking cool is that?
It is pretty good.
So I really, really enjoyed this. Stephanie Williams, love you.
Yep. Stephanie Williams is great.
I'm so excited for this to be collected, and
You're gonna
hopefully
take all your stuff to
more
get
people
signed?
will read it. Yes, and Roots of Madness is currently coming out. She's putting out some really cool stuff right now, but highly recommend Temporal Volume 1. Hopefully there's more, maybe. Stephanie Williams and Asiah Fulmore. It's published by Mad Cave.
Mad Cave.
Ta-da! 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Anything else?
Out of 10.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.